All right, guys. Today we are going to be introducing you to Robert, the CEO of RDS Automotive Group, all of the dealerships that are under this umbrella. This is the CEO here. We're going to be talking to him about how he got to this level. So now you guys are going to learn, even though this is a car dealership, this is an automotive group, you guys are going to learn how real estate plays a role in all of these major businesses, especially this one. Now, if you had to live with one car for the rest of your life, what would it be?
You can't.
You can't? You couldn't give me an option?
Well, these are pretty good. Actually, if the world ends,
Turbo
GT Cayenne, because it's so fast and it goes through so much and it's all-wheel drive.
It's versatile.
Maybe an Ineos Grenadier. But at any rate, the Chiron SS is the king of that. These are the best sedans on this thing. It really is. So, because of what it does, it's just an engineering marvel.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. I don't think I've ever met, well, I don't even know of anybody that owns a Ferrari dealership and a Lamborghini dealership.
Correct, because we are the only privately held company that does, because they initiated this plan, Ferrari, to divest themselves. So every Ferrari dealership had to divest themselves. That's how I wound up becoming a Lamborghini dealer in Southern California. The Ferrari dealer had to divest themselves of Lamborghini, so we bought it. And then in Philadelphia, we were the only market on earth where both Lamborghini and McLaren outsold Ferrari. I was the buyer of the Ferrari store in 2012, but Ferrari was far too corrupt at that point, and they sold it to a Russian oligarch. They pulled the rug out from under me, exercised right of first refusal. I lost the deal. 10 years later, they tapped me on the shoulder and said, look, you're the only store in the world where you crush us. We're the only where Philadelphia get their head handed to them by McLaren and Lamborghini. We were selling more Ferraris out of our McLaren store, more used Ferraris than they were out of the Ferrari store. Wow. So they finally put up the white flag and said, okay, we're turning it over to you. So that's how I wound up buying this.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
After you. So annually there's a race called the Mille Miglia in Italy where cars from 1917 to 1957, and you drive these things 1,200 miles in 3 days. It's for lunatics. And I drove that car. How would you differentiate Ferrari's program to Lamborghini's program, Patrick?
I don't speak the word Lamborghini.
All right. This is available. At one point, it was worth closer to $15 million. The market is fluctuating.
This is $6 million right here. 65. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
67. So this is a V12 with 3 carburetors.
How many horses? I know it's probably not crazy.
What do these things have? I don't know, like 300 or some horses.
It's still pretty good for the 60s.
Oh, yeah. 812 comp. This is a very special car.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
All right, so sit.
All right, so you mentioned, Bob, that you are in the real estate business, even though we're clearly in some very luxurious car dealerships, and you own many of them. Can you elaborate for our audience exactly how you combine real estate into your business operations?
Well, it's an excellent question. And to remain a very healthy enterprise, you want to be both the landlord and the tenant. So in that, you're sitting in incredible space. In fact, this Ferrari Configuration Center might be the best space that I own in my entire portfolio, because it was designed and finished by Italian craftsmen. And as we know, and as I mentioned to you at the last reveal exactly 1 week ago, that truly what is most beautiful is designed and built in Italy. And this is no exception. So why wouldn't I want to own this incredibly beautiful space? So at the core of our business at RDS Automotive is that we are a real estate company, and our tenants are these incredible dealerships, manufacturers that represent the best brands on earth. And you're sitting in the newest Ferrari Configuration Lounge on earth, and it also is the most green. So I'm very proud to share with you that our company was awarded the Green Award from Ferrari as the most energy efficient Ferrari center on the planet.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you this. Do you utilize depreciation of these huge assets?
Absolutely.
Can I ask you if you use cost segregation studies when you acquire new assets?
We certainly do.
Okay, so for everybody that's watching, a cost segregation study is if you're making a lot of money from your business, whatever your business is, and you buy a piece of real estate, you can actually take almost half of the value of that real estate off of your income in that year without actually putting up half of the value in cash, because you can utilize a loan. So let's say you put 20% down, but you take off 45% of the value of that property in that year. Now you're taking a paper loss that you didn't actually incur, so you get to keep your money. So that's what we're talking about here.
Right, under the direction of a CPA.
Yes.
Tax.
And I am not a financial advisor as well.
Absolutely. He's permitted in this facility, yet he does not have a Ferrari with Dave. So we are in the configuration center, and we will trade his Lamborghini in on his future Ferrari. So we must make note of that.
It's crazy. I bought a Lamborghini from him, and I'm getting made fun of for not buying a Ferrari from him.
True, which dovetails into a question that you have for me relative to the brands, and that is?
Which one would you choose, Ferrari or Lamborghini?
The answer is simple. You generate enough income to have everything. So when people ask me, what is the best? I respond, like your children, they all have their tremendous attributes, and they are all unto themselves and at the top of the respective lists. They're all incredible.
I love that answer, honestly. That California outside, by the way, I'm curious about that color and that car. What is? I've never seen that.
That is a special order Fly Yellow, California.
Okay, Fly Yellow. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. I have too many cars right now, but if I were to buy another one, it would be something like a little more entry-level Ferrari.
We don't like to use the word entry level.
Okay.
Each of them are, as I said, they are each unto themselves. But it's a great vehicle that you can drive every day. These cars, there's an expression, they don't make them like they used to. They make them better. So they're all quite good. I will point out that electric is quite different. And Porsche, gone with an advertising campaign of soul electrifying, because the critique is that electric cars don't have a soul. So it's very difficult for manufacturers such as Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Bugatti to talk about, and Porsche, electrified cars. And that's a very tricky situation. That's quite a tightrope to walk.
Yeah, and that's because of these regulations that the government is kind of enforcing.
It's wrong. So the natural demand, as quoted by Bernstein and Bernstein, great investment advisors and analysts, that the natural demand for BEV, battery electric vehicles, is 6% of the market, which means in, as we say tongue-in-cheek, the country of California might reside at 16%, whereas the rest of the world might be at 3%. The aggregate for the U.S., as per their calculations, is about 6%, unless it's artificially stimulated by tax benefits, and that's never good. Capitalism most closely mirrors Darwinism, such that we should respond to the market as it sits, supply and demand without subsidies, without changing the natural market. That's where you'll maximize your rate of return. And there are ways to do this. There are synthetic fuels that are in operation that power race cars that can certainly be used to power everyday cars. Our focus has shifted, and governments have a tendency to look for a silver bullet. Silver bullets before us. They should listen to Mr. Wonderful in Shark Tank.
I've heard his
thoughts. And
thoughts.
they should sell their intellectual property to petrochemical companies so that we can power our cars and fuel them the way we always have and use the infrastructure that exists. And it can happen, and it will, of course, subsidize our farmers. It will work beautifully. Of course, the government can choose to enlist my help, and we can do this immediately. It should happen right now, but we don't need to go to battery electric. Dangerous, bad. We burn coal.
I've heard it's actually not. It's not
energy efficient.
green friendly really
It is
at
not.
all. Yeah.
And the way that we mine lithium and cobalt is a dirty business, and we shouldn't be in it. And only limited supplies. We'd have to greatly improve how we do that to how it's actually done now. We turn a blind eye to it, and it's wrong. It's a terrible business.
Another question that I did want to get on here is, and I'm going back to the Lamborghini Ferrari, and I'm not going to get too confusing here. I just want to know your favorite models of each.
I
You only get one for the rest of your life.
tendency to, well, Dr. Porsche said it best, what is your favorite Porsche? We haven't invented it yet.
Oh, okay.
They're building better cars, but always at the absolute top. When you're talking about flagship models, I have a tendency to do that.
So you like the SVJ?
Uh,
Or just the Aventador in general?
Aventador was eclipsed by the Revolto. The new McLaren W1 is absolutely incredible. Bugatti's replacement for the Chiron, the Tourbillon, is going to be incredible. So look to the future for some incredible vehicles.
So you like the flagships?
I like the flagships.
Okay. So you loved the Murcielago for the time that was the flagship?
No.
Or no?
Because I was not engaged in
Yeah.
Lamborghini at that time.
Okay.
However, all of those would be eclipsed by the Mura S specifically.
Oh,
Better than all
beautiful.
of them in a car that changed the world.
The world. First supercar, correct?
Yes.
First mid-engine V12 ever. And I did hear actually that was the only mid-engine V12 used until the Aventador. Is that correct?
That's correct. Well,
So for 50 years.
we'll do a fact check.
Yeah, I heard that fact check on YouTube like 2 nights ago.
Well, just
In
because-
preparation for this.
just because you heard it online doesn't mean it's true.
Okay.
Right? He
Yeah.
used to be a French model. So that was an online joke.
The one last question I want to ask is, put yourself in their shoes. Our audience is younger. Typically, they're 18 to 24 years old. You're in their shoes. They want to be where you're at. They want to catch this amount of success. They want to build an empire. What do they need to do? What is the number one business principle that you can share with them?
Integrity. So you must be beyond reproach. You must always tell the truth. And if you need help, ask for help. But there is one common thread to being successful. So, of course, being beyond reproach and honest, but the work component, you make your own luck. So be prepared to work 6 days a week and be available. And most of you people don't know who Lee Iacocca is, but he was an executive at Ford that went to Chrysler and ran Chrysler, and he had a quote, "What's it take to be the best? Everything." So you have to be there, you have to put the time in, you have to be the best, but that means being the best. The measure of being the best is being the most honest and the hardest working.
Okay. All right. Well, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And
really
we'll
appreciate
expect a Ferrari order.
Well, I'm not going through anybody else.
That's right.